Oh, my squat went from like 230 to 257.
That's awesome.
And VBT was pretty much the only thing we really changed.
So, Sarah, how long have you been a powerlifter for?
It's my 6th year this year.
6 years, okay. And since how long have you been doing velocity-based training for?
It was just the last 6 months. It was like my last comp prep we started, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, it's definitely a better way to train. I think it's more engaging and you actually have fun. That's one thing I definitely realised. But were you always increasing, or did you sort of plateau at all, or?
I think majority it was increasing. There was a few slower days when I had like high workload days and all that sort of stuff, which was, again, it was good to see. I was supposed to do like a heavy day and my ranges were slow, so I pulled it back and didn't over fatigue myself. So it was good.
No, yeah, I definitely think in powerlifting, velocity-based training is going to be a huge aspect. I mean, it is already. Like Gus, you're using it.
I think it's going to be a game changer. I think if you're not into it in the next couple of years as a coach, I mean, you're going to be left behind. That's what I personally believe, anyway.
That's why you're going to be the VBT Australia guy for powerlifting.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah. Get him in the door, yeah. Bloody hell. So where did you go from in that 6 months again? From and to, in terms of your gains?
Oh, my squat went from like 230 to 257.
That's awesome.
And VBT was pretty much the only thing we really changed. Hey.
Yeah.
And at the elite end of the spectrum, that's like a lot to gain.
So we applied the exact same strategy I did in terms of programming that we did at Showdown, which is the competition we did prior to that. And we made some good gains. So we figured out a strategy that worked well for her, but I mainly replaced one aspect of it, which was the one aspect of it with velocity, and used that to dictate load, and there was a significant difference. So we basically got to replicate the same methodology of programming twice, but the second time around applying velocity. And it just, because I mean, that competition you added 5 or 10 kilos in the first one, and then in the second one we added like 30 kilos.
Insane.
And even my bench, like that.
You got 152 at one competition. So in 2018 she got 157, and then we haven't been able to get that strength back for some time. We applied the same methodology with same with the VBT, but without it. And we got up to 152, so it was still about 5 kilos off. And we're struggling for like 2 years to get that back. We applied velocity, and then after that, got 161, which is the unofficial all-time Australian record. So now we just got to get that.
And it was in the gym.
It was in the gym, yeah. So we just get that in competition.
How many times do you train, Sarah? Like a week?
Sorry, was that?
How many times do you train in the gym a week?
3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay.
3 or 4 days, yeah.
Yeah, and how, like, this is one thing that I'm just interested in. Like, how much rest do you have in between sets?
Depending like on the day and how heavy it is and stuff, but usually about 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah, and do you set those times, Gus? Like, is that part of the program? Like, how long they have?
I generally suggest people taking the 5 to 7 mark for the really heavy stuff, and keeping it under 5 minutes for the lighter stuff. So I don't set a timer. I kind of stay on top of them in terms of trying to regulate that themselves. So, but they already know too, if they rest too long, they'll slow down, and if they rest too short, they won't recover. So
it's a fine line.
I feel athletes tend to build an intuition with their rest periods. So I rather rely on their intuition. My rule of thumb is like, when you feel 90% recovered, then go again. You never want to feel fully recovered. You never really will.
Yeah. 3 years later, still waiting for the next set.
Yeah. I went into a gym in Melbourne and they were having like 15 minutes in between sets. Couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh my God. But I think they were talking around and mucking around a little bit.
12-hour sessions.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
15 minutes.
We all have powerlifters, yeah, it tends to be.
Especially when you're squatting.
Yeah, squatting's the long one. Squatting's an event. It's just so much preparation for squats. It's just not it's not one of those, like bench and deads, you can come in, you can rip some weight off the floor or just get under the bar. But squats is I guess a mind fuck game and the thing that can hurt you the most, and everyone just hates it.
There's that bit when you step back off the rack and you just stood there and you're like, fuck, I gotta commit, and you're like, yeah. Jesus.